Today we will study about body fluids and circulation. In previous class you have already studied about body fluids. What are the body fluids? Blood and lymph are the body fluids. And circulation. What is circulation and why we need circulation process? First, circulation means transport of substances from one place to another place. That is called circulation. But why we need circulation? You have already studied in the 10th class why we need circulation. Already you have known that all the living organisms provided to be nutrients, gases and some essential substances. But air is absorbed by the lungs, but all the cells of our body needs oxygen, because getting energy from the digested food we need oxygen. So we have to reach the oxygen to all our cells. So we need circulation. And maximum absorption process takes place in the small intestine, but all the cells of our body needs the nutrient. So we need the circulation process. First, body fluids, blood and lymph. Blood and lymph. Blood and lymph are the body fluids. And circulation, and why we need circulation. In this chapter we are going to study about components of circulation system. First one is blood, second one is blood vessels, third one is pumping organ. Pumping organ, what is our pumping organ? That is our heart. Components of circulation system. First one is blood, and also we are going to study about lymph. Second one is blood vessels. Blood vessels. Third one is pumping organ. What is our pumping organ? That is heart. Heart. In today's class we are studying about blood and blood vessels, and also we are going to study about lymphatic system. In the another class we will discuss about pumping organ, that is our heart. First, blood vessels. Do you know what are the blood vessels? We are having a closed path, closed circulatory system. So we need blood vessels. Blood is not flowing in the open area. Blood is flowing in the particular tubes or particular vessels. That vessels are called blood vessels. Major three type of blood vessels are there. First one is arteries. Second one is veins. Third one is capillaries. In the younger class you have already studied about arteries, veins and capillaries. First one, arteries. What are arteries? Arteries are blood vessels. Arteries carrying the blood from the heart to the all cells of our body. Arteries carrying oxygenated blood except pulmonary arteries. And veins. What are veins? Veins are also blood vessels. Veins are carrying the blood to the heart from all the cells of our body. Veins are carrying a deoxygenated blood except pulmonary veins. Next, capillaries. What are capillaries? Capillaries connect the arteries and veins. Capillaries having the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. And arteries are having a thicker wall as compared to veins, because heart pumps the blood in the high pressure. So arteries are having a thicker wall. Next, veins are having a walls, because this prevents the backward moving of blood, and veins help in the direction of oxygen in one direction. And capillaries are having a mixture of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. These are all blood vessels. Arteries, veins, capillaries. Arteries are having a thicker wall as compared to veins. These are all blood vessels. Next, let's move on to the next concept, that is blood. Already you have known that what is blood. In the previous chapter you have already studied blood is the medium of transport for oxygen and carbon dioxide. Blood is the medium. Next, in this class we are going to study about composition of blood, functions of blood. First, blood. Blood is slightly alkaline, which is having a pH 7 to 7.8, average 7.4. Male is having a 5 liter blood and female is having a 4.5 liter blood. Next, composition of blood. Blood is the fluid connective tissue. First, composition of blood. First one is plasma. Second one is formed elements. Formed elements. First, plasma. 55% part of blood is plasma and 45% part of blood is formed elements. First, plasma. Do you know what are the functions of plasma? Functions of plasma, first one, 3% and 7%. 3% of oxygen carried as a dissolved state through the plasma and 7% of carbon dioxide carried as a dissolved state through the plasma. These are all functions of plasma. Plasma is also slightly alkaline, which is having a pH 7.4. And I like to highlight one point, that is serum. What is serum? Serum means plasma without clotting factors. That is called serum. First, composition of plasma. First, water. Second one is proteins and minerals, and fourth one is other substances. Plasma contains water, proteins, minerals and other substances. First one, water. 90 to 92% of plasma is water only. Next, proteins. We can see the major 4 proteins in plasma. First one is albumin. Second one is globulin. Third one is fibrinogen. And minerals. Plasma is having a minerals like sodium ion and calcium ion, chlorine ion. Next, other substances. Plasma is also having the excretory substances, hormones, vitamins and dissolved gases. Let us move on to the proteins. Albumin, globulin and fibrinogen. Albumin is the most abundant plasma protein. Albumins are needed to, you can imagine this is a capillary, this is a tissue fluid. Albumins are needed to draw the water from the surrounding tissue into capillaries, and albumins are help in the maintain the osmotic balance and osmotic pressure of our body. Albumins are most abundant plasma protein. Next, globulin. They are involved in the defense mechanism of our body. We are classifying the globulin into 3 major types. First one is alpha globulin, second one is gamma globulin, third one is beta globulin. Gamma globulins are the responsible for our immune response of our body. Next, fibrinogen. They take very important role in blood coagulation or blood clotting. These are all plasma proteins. Next, minerals. Plasma is also having the calcium ion, sodium ion, chlorine ion. Next, already you have studied about other substances. This is all about plasma. Next, let us move on to the next concept, that is formed elements. We are classifying the formed elements into two types. First one is blood cells, another one is platelets. First one is blood cells, and second one is platelets. Platelets are not considered as a blood cell because they are not true cells. So blood cells are, first one is RBCs, second one is WBC. And again we are classifying the WBC into two types. First one is granulocyte, second one is agranulocyte. First we are studying about RBCs. RBCs means red blood corpuscles or red blood cells, are also called as erythrocyte. Erythrocytes. First, shape. RBCs are having a biconcave shape. Do you know why are the RBCs are having a biconcave shape? Because increase the area of carrying capacity of oxygen, so RBCs are having a biconcave shape. And RBCs are also called as erythrocyte. First one, RBCs are produced, that process is called erythropoiesis. Erythropoiesis is the process of production of RBCs. Erythropoiesis is the production of RBCs. First, in the embryonic life. RBCs are produced in a yolk sac, and later embryonic life RBCs are produced in a spleen and liver, and after the birth RBCs are produced in a bone marrow, and RBCs are destroyed in the spleen. Next, lifespan of RBCs. Lifespan of RBCs is 120 days. And functions of RBCs. First one is 97% of oxygen carried by the RBCs because of the hemoglobin. First, RBCs 5 to 5.5 million. Blood is having a 5 to 5.5 millions of RBCs per millimeter cube. And hemoglobin, HB. Hemoglobin is iron containing and red color pigment present in RBCs. Hemoglobin takes very important role in transportation of and carry of oxygen and carbon dioxide. First, a healthy man is having a 12 to 16 grams. A healthy man is having a 12 to 16 grams of hemoglobin in every 100 ml of blood. And next, HB. 97% of oxygen carried by the hemoglobin as oxyhemoglobin, and 20 to 25% of carbon dioxide carried by the hemoglobin as carbaminohemoglobin. This is functions of RBCs. RBCs are having a red color pigment, that is hemoglobin. And this is all about RBCs. Increase in the number of RBCs. That condition is called polycythemia. Increase in the number of RBCs, that condition is called polycythemia. And decrease in the number of RBCs, that condition is called erythrocytopenia. This is all about RBCs. Let's move on to the next blood cell, that is WBC. WBC means white blood cells. I have forget one thing, that is RBCs are considered as an incomplete cell because RBCs are having no nucleus. These are not having a nucleus, so we called it as an incomplete cell. And WBC, white blood cells, are also called as leukocytes. 6,000 to 8,000. Blood is having a 6,000 to 8,000 WBCs per millimeter cubic of blood. And lifespan of WBC is 1 or 2 week. And WBC, white blood cells are having a nucleus, so we call it as a complete cell. This is having a nucleus. And WBC is also produced in bone marrow. And we are classifying the WBCs into two types. First one is granulocyte and agranulocyte. Granulocyte means which RBCs are having a granules like structure in the cytoplasm. That type of WBCs are called granulocyte. And agranulocyte means which RBCs are not having a granule like structure in the cytoplasm. That type of WBCs are called agranulocyte. First example for granulocyte. First one is neutrophil, second one is eosinophil, third one is basophil. And example for agranulocyte. First one is monocyte, second one is lymphocyte. First neutrophil. Neutrophil are the most abundant cells in the leukocytes. And monocytes are having large in size, but neutrophil are the most abundant cells in leukocyte. First neutrophil and monocyte. Neutrophil and monocyte are the phagocytic cells which are destroy the foreign organisms which are entering of our body. Next eosinophil. Eosinophil are associated with the allergic reactions. And basophil. Basophil secretes the three substances. First one is histamine, second one is serotonin, third one heparin. Basophil secrete. Next lymphocyte. Lymphocyte, they are responsible to immune response of our body. And again we are classifying the lymphocyte into T lymphocyte and B lymphocyte. This is all about WBC. Increase in the number of WBC, that condition is called leukemia. And decrease in the number of WBC, that condition is called leukocytopenia. This is all about WBC. Next let us move on to the next concept, that is platelets. Platelets are also called as thrombocytes. Platelets are not true cells because they are formed by the megakaryocytes. Megakaryocytes are special cells present in bone marrow. They are not true cells. Are also called as thrombocyte. Blood is having a 1.5 to 3.5 lakh platelets per millimeter cube. Platelets are help in the blood coagulation or blood clotting. This is next increase in the number of platelets, that condition is called thrombocytosis. And decrease in the number of platelets, that condition is called thrombocytopenia. Platelets are also produced in bone marrow. This is all about blood cells and platelets and plasma and form elements. This is all about blood. Let us move on to the next concept, that is blood clotting or blood coagulation. Blood clotting. Do you know what is blood clotting? Blood clotting. Blood clotting or blood coagulation. You know that when you cut your finger in the situation of injury of blood vessels, you have known that wound does not continues to bleed for a long time. Usually sometime blood stops bleeding. Why? Do you know why? Because of the blood clotting. In the blood clotting, platelets take the very important role in this process. First, in that situation you can see the red color or brownish colors come in the site of wound. That is network of fibrins. Network of fibrins. Do you know what are the fibrins? Fibrins. Fibrins are formed by the fibrinogen. You have already studied in plasma. Fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is a plasma protein. Fibrins are formed by the fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is a inactive. The conversion of fibrinogen into fibrins, an enzyme takes very important role, that is thrombin. Thrombin converts the inactive substances fibrinogen into active substances, that is fibrins. And thrombin is also inactive. The thrombin is formed by the another inactive substances, that is prothrombin. Prothrombin. This is also inactive substances. And thrombokinase. Thrombokinase is an enzyme. It converts the inactive prothrombin into thrombin. Thrombin converts the inactive fibrinogen into active fibrins. Injury of blood vessels can stimulate the process of blood clotting. Platelets are very important in blood clotting. Calcium ions plays a very important role in blood clotting. This is all about blood clotting or blood coagulation. Next concept is RH group, blood grouping. Blood grouping. Blood appears similarly but different. We are classifying the blood into four major types. First one is A blood group, second one is B blood group, third one is AB blood group, and fourth one is O blood group, on the basis of presence or absence of antigens A and B. What are the antigens? Antigens are chemicals. Antigens are chemicals that can induce immune response. That chemicals are called antigens. And what are the antibodies? Antibodies are proteins produced in response to antigens. That chemicals are called antibodies. First, blood group. Second one is antigens. Antigens are present in surface of RBCs. Antigens. Antibodies. Antibodies are present in plasma. And donors group. First one is A blood group, second one is B blood group, third one is AB blood group, fourth one is O blood group. If you are having a blood group, that you are having a antigen on the surface of your RBC. Next, if you are having a B blood group, that you are having a B antigens on the surface of RBCs. B antigen. And if you are having a AB blood group, that you are having a antigens A and B. A and B. If you are having a O blood group, you have no antigens. And if you are having a blood group, you are having a B antibodies in the plasma. If you are having a B blood group, you are having a antibodies in the plasma. If you are having a AB blood group, you are having a no antibodies in the plasma. And if you are having a O blood group, that you are having a and B antibodies. And donors group. A person with A and O blood group, that they can donate the blood to A blood grouped person, and B. Persons with the B and O blood group, they can donate the blood to the B grouped person. And persons with the AB and O group, they can donate the blood to AB blood grouped person. And person with the O, they can donate the blood to O group. And you can see here O. Blood group O is the universal donor. Universal donor is O blood group. And universal receptor. Universal receptor. You can see here AB and O. So blood group AB is the universal receptor. Universal receptor. So you have come to one point, that is universal. Which blood group is the universal donor and which blood group is the universal receptor? O negative. O negative is the universal donor and AB positive is the universal receptor. This is all about blood grouping. We are classifying the blood into 4 major blood group on the basis of presence or absence of antigens. This is all about blood grouping. That one is RH grouping. RH grouping. RH group is having a RH antigen. This discovered by Landsteiner and Wiener. RH named because this antigen found in the first in the RBCs of rhesus monkey, so we named it as a RH. We can see the RH antigen on the surface of RBCs of a human 80%. That persons are called RH positive. And if a person is having a no RH antigens on the surface of his RBCs, that person is called RH negative. This is all about RH grouping, discovered by Landsteiner and Wiener. Next, let's move on to the next concept, that is lymphatic system. Lymphatic system, which fluid present in the lymphatic system? That is lymph. Lymph is a fluid present in lymphatic system. Lymph is also important carrier of nutrients and other substances. Lymph is also transfer. Lymph is also help in the carrier of nutrients and gases. This is a lymphatic system. Lymph is colorless liquid which is having a lymphocyte. Lymphocytes are responsible for immune response of our body. We have completed the blood and blood vessels. In the another class we will discuss about pumping organ, that is our heart.